Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be part 4 of Organize My Life, where I'm going to show you the bad, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the really ugly. Okay, so we decided in lieu of buying a new house, we're going to go ahead and make some renovations to our current house. We're happy where we are. We like our house. It's just, the excitement of having something new. And, we decided that the things that we didn't like about our house were fixable. And why dig ourselves $500,000 into debt when, our house is technically paid for on paper. So, it was a hard decision, but that's what we ultimately decided, because yeah, we could have this really huge, nice house, but the trips to Disney would have to stop. It would just be so tight for everything else, right? We'd have a nice house, but nothing else. So, I wanted pull-out shelves for my kitchen. So I decided every payday, I'm going to go ahead and get 2 sets. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 cabinet at a time. I don't have many cabinets. I only have 6 cabinets on the bottom, so here in like 6 weeks, I'll have all my cabinets done. So I got these shelves off of Amazon. Now, they're a little pricey, but I think they're totally worth it. They're solid hardwood. They're not particle board. Like, they're not the cheap stuff, but they are like $100 a pop. So I'm buying 2 at a time. So I got my kiddos in the living room, and we're going to pause just a second here so we can appreciate my 7th grader playing the fridge horn. Okay, anyhow, sorry, had to, show off my son's talent there. He's in the 7th grade, and he definitely got my music talent, which I'm super excited about, if I'm being honest. I was in the band all of my school year, starting in the 6th grade, and I actually went all the way through my sophomore year of college in the marching band, and I loved it, and he loves it, and I'm just so glad that he's loving it as much as I did. But anyway, so these shelves were really easy to put together. They really were. The instructions were not super clear, but if you've done any sort of, if you've built any IKEA furniture or anything like that, it really wasn't that hard. The screws being so tiny with my nails were honestly the most complicated part, but otherwise they were pretty easy to put together. But yeah, I really liked these. I liked the shape of the front, so they kind of have like a handhold kind of place. You'll see later when I show them, but you have to put them together. They actually screw in to the bottom of your shelves, not to the sides. So that was really nice, because that way it doesn't really matter how close your walls are to your cabinets. It hooks to the bottom. So, okay, so I decided to do this cabinet first. This is where all of my pots and pans and lids and such are. So I moved the camera around several times. I wasn't exactly sure what would be the best views. But there's my youngest. He wanted to say hi to everybody, because I told him, I'm like, well, I'm going to speed it up. So, and he's like, oh, well, I'm going to say hi anyway. So that was his little wave. Okay, so I have this shelf, right, that came built into my bottom cabinet. And I knew that had to go. It had the most asinine design that I have ever seen. So they were actually, I thought I'd just be able to go in with a screwdriver, pop a couple of screws out, take the shelf out. Oh, that was a joke. So that little bracket that I just took down right there, it was actually held up by industrial staples. So, my bright idea was, oh, I can just pull the staples. Oh, yeah, no, that was just outrageous. So I've got a flathead screwdriver that I'm trying to wedge between the shelf and the staples to break them loose. And I just get more frustrated and more frustrated and more frustrated the more I go about it. So here in a minute, what I end up doing is I take my my power drill that I was using, and I connect a drill bit to it, just like a small drill bit, because the brackets that are holding it up, they're plastic. So I just drilled like little tiny drill holes all through the little plastic brackets until they literally broke in half. And what I ended up doing was just hammering the staples back into the floor because I couldn't get them out. So yeah, see, there I am trying to, take the pieces out. This one had more staples than the other one. There I'm drilling holes through it and it will not come out. I'm using the light on my drill. It keeps turning off, so I keep pushing the button on the drill to turn it back on. But so I finally go to the garage and, find a longer drill bit, because the drill bit that's on there that you see right there, it wasn't long enough because this bracket was closer back, like to the back corner, than the other one was. The other one was kind of a little more forward, so it was easier to get to. But this one was just, it was a booger. It was quite difficult. So here, I finally found my little box of drill bits. And then I figured out that, I'm using the impact wrench because I prefer the impact drill. Only for the fact that it's smaller, it's easier for me to handle, it's lighter, it's not quite so heavy, but it doesn't have the rotary thing on the front, that you can put literally anything in there. It doesn't work. Okay, so I finally get that bracket off. Well, then it's freaking stapled to the back as well, so I had to pop all those loose. Luckily, that was pretty easy. So now I'm like, yes, it's loose. It'll just pull out. Yeah, no, that's, no. So I'm like trying to pull it, trying to wedge it, trying to, maybe it'll come sideways, maybe it'll, no. Here I am contemplating all of my life decisions. Maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe this isn't going to work. I was beside myself, frustrated, just beside myself. So here comes my oldest, and he's like, okay, here, I got this. We can just, push it, right? So he's like, here, let me get in the cabinet. I can use my feet. Okay, so let me pause so you can appreciate this moment. Now, can you back up? See what I'm saying? Careful with that staple that I was telling you about. Put them like right here. Oh, to be 12 again, right? So I had him, push his back against one side and his feet against the other to maybe be able to bow the sides enough that it would slide out. No, it didn't. No. So he tries and he thinks he can just force it out. And I'm like, yep, go ahead. Go for it. So then he gets the bright idea of, hey, what if we grab a hammer and just like bust this thing in half? And I'm like, well, let me talk to my husband. Let me talk to your stepdad about that first, because I'm not sure about that. So here comes back with a hammer, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ask Eric, just to see if he because I figured he might come in and be like, well, you could have just done blah blah blah, right? And it would have popped right. Yeah, no, he didn't have any ideas either. So I go and talk to him, and I'm like, okay, yeah. And he's like, hey, yeah, if you just want to karate chop it and think you can get it that way, man, hey, let's see it. Bruce Lee it. So let's appreciate this moment as well.
I can't make it budge.
Okay, so we had a really good chuckle about that because, yeah, he put all of his oomph in it, and he thought that wood would just pop right in half. And when it didn't, he was so disappointed, poor guy. But yeah, it did not. So I go searching for my jigsaw, which I can't find, which that's a whole new story for another day. But I end up coming back with a Sawzall and, just literally chopping it in two so that it'll come out, because I don't know if you can see, there's like these little recessed like slider points where it sits in there. And yeah, there was just, and then I've got my electrical box because I'm so glad that my island has electricity. It's fantastic. That's where my ice maker is. That's where my coffee pot is. So yeah, I basically just take a Sawzall and cut this baby right in half. And I'm all dancing because I'm so excited. It's finally done. So now I'm just going to do some cleanup. I got this little vacuum off of Temu. Don't you laugh at me. I've actually got several things off of Temu that are actually really nice. But I had already used the vacuum several times. So of course it was dead and I had failed to charge it. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go get the big corded vacuum. So I get all the sawdust vacuumed, and oh my goodness, look at all those cobwebs that are hanging down from my cabinet. And I need to be a better housekeeper. But anyway. Okay, so we finally get the first one in, and I am all of a sudden disheartened because my electrical, where my electrical is, I was like, this isn't going to work. It's in the way. There's no way I can move it or push it up. And, the electrical goes in the floor, right? It runs under the floor. So I'm like, well, crap, right? Now what? But I ended up pulling it a little bit out of the floor, like some of the extra line. That way I would have a little more wiggle room, and it actually ended up working really well. So I was like, here, let me, give me the drawer. Let me make sure this is gonna like fit, because yeah. Now, there are a lot of people that say that I lost a lot of cabinet space because of the space like in between the two shelves. And I suppose that that's true. But for me, I'd rather have it looked organized and have less things than have more things and have it just all like shoved in there. Because before, it's like I needed a pot and I would have to drag several things out just to get the pot that I needed or that I wanted, and sometimes everything fell out when I closed the door, when I opened the doors, and it's just a mess. I can't, that's the whole point of all these, is getting stuff organized, right? And it's like I'm going through after I finish this going, okay, I didn't even know this was back here. Okay. I obviously never use it. I'm not ever going to use it. So, I'm going to get rid of it. We're going to do a huge garage sale probably next month before we start the renovations on our house. So I've got a lot of things, I guess, that are piling up, right? But we're going to sell it all. So hopefully make some money to go towards the renovations. And honestly, whatever I don't sell, I'm just going to donate, because I don't need it in my home, and maybe somebody else needs it and can use it. So yeah, I was really excited. And then, so here's the before. See how everything is just thrown in, and all those extra lids that I never used, and there's stuff that's looked like it is about to fall over. And here is the after, which it just looks so nice. Like I said, I love the handles on the front, and then they pull out all the way so you can see everything that's in the back. And I love it. I can't wait to do the rest, and I'll definitely share it with you when you do. So I hope you're liking this series. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.